Okay, non-pastry mini quiches we're going to be cooking today for Year 5, Level 2, Lesson 5. So the children are a little bit older with this, so they can cope a little bit more with making the whole thing from start to finish. So if you want to demonstrate at the beginning the whole process that we'll go through now, that'd be good. And then they can each individually make one of their mini quiches. So if we start with the ingredients and the equipment that you're going to need. Children are going to need an apron on. If you put tablecloths on the tables, something like that, it's good to use. In terms of other equipment, all you're going to need are mixing bowls and a whisk for whisking the eggs. You'll need a table knife and a spoon, and you'll need muffin trays. So you can get these in 12s or 6s. 6s are probably better if you're going to work in groups so that they're not all trying to put their quiches in the same tray. So we start off showing you the method. What we start off with, instead of pastry, so you can point out the health benefits, because obviously pastry is high in fat and salt, so we're going to be using wholemeal bread instead, so you can talk about the energy and how that wholemeal bread provides. What we're going to do is lightly spread this with some olive spread. What this does is it stops it from sticking in the muffin tray. So when you're trying to get them out, it's a lot easier. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trim the crusts off the slice of bread. So you could get children into groups. Some could be doing the base part, this bread part. Some could be whisking the eggs. Or you could have a conveyor system where they cut their own slice of bread, then they move on to whisk their egg, and then they put their fillings in, and they end with a sprinkling of the Parmesan cheese. So just chopping off the crusts. What you do here is you get past them to gently push these into one of the muffin holes. If you press too hard, they're going to put their fingers through it, so just make them aware they need to do that gently and press it in there. Butter side down, make sure that they've got the butter next to the tray and not the other way up. Okay, that's ready. So once they've done that, they can pass it on to the next person who can put theirs in. After that, here's the fun bit. They need to whisk an egg. So when you're demonstrating, just tell them that these metal bowls are probably better for cracking the eggs. The plastic ones, like this here, these clear bowls are really good for showing ingredients, but they're not so good for cracking the eggs. So a couple of taps. So they just need just less than one egg per muffin. So if you get them to crack one, but they probably won't need to use it all. So if they're in groups, you could have them doing 4 or 5 eggs using the same bowl. Get them to put as much air into that as possible so it makes a nice fluffy quiche. So use your measuring cylinder, because if they're pouring out of this into the tray, then it's often going to get a bit messy. So ask them to pour into a measuring jug. Before you use that, there's a selection of things that they can choose. On the recipe, we've got pea and mint. Now, when you're talking about the ingredients at the beginning of the lesson, get them to have a look at them, taste them, smell them. So this is a great ingredient for them to tear a little bit off, smell it, and really show them what kind of flavours and tastes are going to be in their quiches. So a little bit of mint at the bottom, a few peas. Obviously, you could have bacon, you could have tomatoes. Get them to design their own quiche if only half the class are doing this, but this is a nice recipe for cutting open and being able to see what's inside, quite visual. So once you've got your ingredients in there, you simply get them to pour the egg into the quiche. As you can see, there's hardly anything left in there. It's more or less one large egg. And then they're going to sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Now again, the health benefit of Parmesan cheese is quite strong in taste, but it doesn't provide lots of fat. So what you're doing is adding the flavour without adding too much fat. That goes in the oven, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, get them to set the timer, make sure that they're aware of how long something's taking. And then the end product are these mini quiches. I'll chop one of these open for you in a minute, just so that you can have a look inside. Discuss with the children how it's gone from a liquid into a solid form. They can see how it's changed. If you cut down the middle of this, they'll be able to see the peas in there and see all the ingredients that I added at the bottom. You can talk about complementing ingredients, how peas go with mint, and how you could add various flavours, and talk about what other things that you could do with eggs. So really engage them in the conversation, engage them with what they're cooking and how they're going to benefit. And that's the end of that lesson.